WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskey. Today I am in the United States, well, more or less. Today I'm at Barrell Craft Spirits. Yay, Barrell, great stuff. A little bit too much from Tennessee, Dickel, but other than that. This is the Infinite, I got it, Infinite Barrel Project. So I have the May 2018 version. Now, about 6 months prior to that, Barrell, created a barrel. I'm laughing because they take some of the barrel out, some of the material, some of the juice out of the barrel at cast strength, and they had 3,900 and 3,096 bottles. So this is a let's say a very, very big barrel. I think they call them tons over here, TUNs, tun, at Balvenie, but let's talk about that in a moment. So they took Tennessee whiskey, they took Tennessee rye, they took Indiana rye with a Oloroso finish. They took 100% Polish malted rye with a Curacao finish. Ooh, I know what that is, and it's not good in my opinion. They took a single malt scotch, they took a single grain scotch, they took a Scotch whiskey, which means a blended whiskey, and they took Irish whiskey and mixed it all together and said, ta-da! Infinite Barrel Project. So this is whiskey base number 116937, 59.65%, ABV, $70, not bad, very, very interesting. Now, the problem is the whole concept. Now, you might know of an infinity bottle. Now, if you've actually done an infinity bottle, I would say, in my personal opinion, with my little bit of history here, about 80% of the people who've done infinity bottles at the end go, whoops, ooh. Instead of creating something that's for infinity, they created a Frankenstein. A Frankenstein is a whiskey that tastes much worse than the individual elements. Now, the first mistake everyone makes is, of course, say, oh, I have like a little bit of Outback over, let's just put that in there. And suddenly you have 20 liters of Speyside or bourbon or anything, and it's still a smoky, peated mess. A tiny little bit of Koala goes a long way. You find that out very quickly. And the second thing you find out is it's not very good normally to mix Scotch with bourbon or Irish with Scotch or other things. It's just not really the thing you do. So you have your bourbon barrel and you have maybe your Scotch, and then you have another bottle for your peated Scotch and so on. And you learn how to do this over time. But in my personal opinion, I very rarely have had something out of an infinity bottle where at the end the sum was better than the parts. So, now, Barrell tries to do exactly that. I read like 4 or 5 different reviews online. I only found one person who did a video online. It wasn't even a real review. And they asked the actress what she thought about this, and it was in very, very poor quality. So I decided, hey, WhiskyJason, if the video's not out there, I'll do it. And I decided to do this. Now, everyone that wrote about this said, hey, 2 things happens when they nose it. The first thing is, oh, it's whiskey. Is it Scotch? No. Is it Irish? No. Is it bourbon? No. Is it rye? No. Is it whiskey? Yes. It's like a generic whiskey. And that's what happens when you mix 8 different types of whiskeys together. You get the average of everything, and that's what you have. Now, the second thing they got was if they tried it on Tuesday, it was like, oh, this is a great Irish whiskey. If they tried it on Wednesday, it's like, oh, this is a great bourbon. They tried it on Thursday, oh, this is a great Scotch. And they kept on getting different facets of the same whiskey. Now, there's a 100% Polish malted rye in here. This is not whiskey made in Poland. This is Polish rye, the biggest producer of rye in the world. Second is Germany. And this rye has been imported to the United States, and they malted it there. Now, the problem with this 100% Polish malted rye is that they actually created a very, very long malting process. This malted rye, according to my nose and my taste bud, has been turned into a chocolate malt, into a Munich malt. And that just means it's been roasted. If you take a look at normal barley, and it's a very, very nice tan color. If you take a look at chocolate malted barley, it looks like a coffee bean because it's actually the same process. You dry it, you dry it, you dry it, and you roast it. And that's what you can do also with rye and with every other grain when you malt them. After you malt them, you get them to start to sprout a little bit. You stop that with heat, and then you dry them. And of course, you can over dry them, and that's what happened here because the flavor that comes through automatically for me, maybe it's just the receptors on my tongue, but I'm so sensitive to this, is cappuccino. It's a mocha. It's a coffee tartness, and it's that bitterness that I get from the get-go. That dominates everything else for me. Now, 59.65% smooth. Nice. There's no bitterness per se. It's not wood bitterness. It's a little of a tartiness of that mocha dark chocolate moment. Now, there's some whiskeys where I prefer a nice, smooth, sweet, silky type of finish. I like fruitiness. I like some sherry bombs. I like that. And other people say, "Oh wow, something's missing. I want a little bit of a kick at the end. I don't want the alcohol kick. I want like a dark, rich, deep, dark chocolate, bitter mocha moment." And if you're looking for that, this is your whiskey. This is so good if you like that. Unfortunately, I don't drink beer and I don't drink coffee, and this has a very expressly coffee moment. If I were to be doing this, I would have stopped putting in the Polish malted rye, and instead I would have put in a little bit more of the Tennessee whiskey, a little bit more of the rye, a little bit more of the Indiana whiskey from NGP, a little bit of Scotch, a little bit of grain, tiny bit of Scotch whiskey, and a little bit more of the Irish maybe as well. Who knows? And I would dumb down. I would make that Polish malted rye moment a little bit less evident. My personal opinion here. Now, $70 is actually from Barrell a normal price. They've done release almost every 3 months at the moment, usually around 3,000 bottles. Imagine you have a barrel and you take away 3,000 bottles. Now, a normal bottle of cask strength, you have a 200 liter bottle. You can get maybe 300 bottles out of a normal barrel. They're getting 10 times that amount and still leaving more than half of it in there. So they have a barrel someplace the size of 20 normal barrels together. So it has to be a vatting barrel. And that's just fine. That's what you can do. But I just kind of think it's the infinite barrel project. You think of a tiny little barrel and then you read the number of bottles they get and you go, well, something's wrong there. Would I change anything else? Nope. I like the concept. I like the idea. I just don't like that one particular note there. I'm going to really dilute this down to about 40%. In my German video, I diluted it down to 50%. Didn't help much. Doesn't help much down by 40% either. It is an interesting whiskey. It has all these facets. It's like a here and then there and then this and then that. But unfortunately, that in the middle, that little bit of that chocolate, that Munich malt, just really, really kicks in and overpowers a lot of everything else in there. So, Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. I'm going to give this a solid C. I'm sure if someone likes that malted mocha moment at the end, they're going to give it a B minus. Actually, value for money, C minus is what I'm going to give it. $70. Now, I would buy a Booker instead. I love Bookers. Now, the problem is they're putting this up to maybe about $100 as well over the next years. They want to add about about $10 to each year to the price tag to push this up to $100 bottle, which is, of course, ouch. I would rather have the Stag Junior if you can find that. Even more difficult. Elijah Craig barrel proof. Ooh, still possible most of the time. The bourbon boom is great for all the people out there, but it really does make it difficult to find the good juice, doesn't it? All right, thank you very much for watching. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare, barrel, infinite barrel project, and exotic whiskeys. All the best Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My videos are released. Click the bell, like, and I thank you very much for being there. Bye-bye.